don't see too many like me, cause I am one of the reasons you do what you do when you wanna be me instead of you, cause I am still on beat, showing love to the streets. Come on, you know me, cause that's who I am.
That one.
And good afternoon, everybody. Joxx podcast live from the studios in Cherryville, North Carolina, KTC Broadcasting. I'm Kevin Hastings along with Hunter Yancey today. And not going to be a long breakdown of sports today, Hunter. I guess one of the strangest shows we'll have maybe ever. I don't know how long this is going to go on. We're going to or how it's going to affect our sports talk schedule. We've kind of been discussing that. It won't keep us from doing any all-time teams.
No.
Discussions like that. If we want to keep it into that next week, make plans for that. Our Saturday sports talk with the cancellations of about the world for the most part. Hunter, it's got into high school sports. Neither one of us are doctors or experts. However, comparatively speaking to other situations, a lot of people are wondering why the total shutdown of certain things. There's a big argument over percentages and actual numbers, how many's actually sick, how long it takes to be sick. The fact that you don't know for a couple of days or a week makes it hard for life, I guess, to go on or things to go on. But it's definitely going to be the sports world. The business of it is going to be affect so much other than just who's going to a bar to watch games now. There's nothing to go watch. There's, do you stay in the house anyway to make your own dinner? There's so many different things and questions that I guess I have and other people have. And every sport has their own decisions and ways to go about it. We thought about 20 minutes before the show started, Hunter, we thought, or I believe that we were going to be talking NASCAR for the rest of the year, or rest of our shows, and that would be the main focus as far as active sports.
Yeah.
And give updates as each sport makes their own decisions. So, for example, here in North Carolina, high school athletics have been postponed for what I think and know till April 6th, and then maybe for the rest of the season, which means all the spring sports athletes will not even get a season of playing in, much less postseason play. The basketball championships were supposed to happen this weekend. If they happened on Tuesday, they would have probably got them in and over with. So. But those have been postponed. Shelby is involved in one of these championships, one of our local teams, and they have they're in the championship, and they're playing the defending champions, which neither team, Hunter, they're both 2A schools. Neither team has lost to an actual 2A school this whole year. Farmville has lost to a private school, 4A school, and a school from Virginia, and Shelby's lost to 2 3A schools.
Yeah.
And so that's our situation in North Carolina. NBA, ATP, UEFA, NHL, MLS suspended. Major League Baseball is delaying the season. Spring training is suspended, waiting on details on that. We got our email from the Braves today. College World Series and NCAA tournament canceled. NASCAR and PGA Tour were no fans, and then now they have canceled their tournaments. Even the Masters has been changed. They just made that announcement. If you want to read that, Hunter, real quick.
Augusta announces the Masters will be postponed. The Augusta National announced this morning that the Masters, originally scheduled for April 9th through the 12th, would be postponed. A rescheduled date has not yet been determined. For for those of you that listened to Wednesday's show, I'm not going to sit here and say that I predicted all of this to happen, but I did mention since Wednesday is when the universities started to shut down in-seat classes. And I brought up that Dayton, because obviously the virus is in Ohio as well,
Right.
that Dayton, they shut down their classes, and there was not a set amount of time they were going to be shut down. And I posed the question. I said, well, since the NCAA tournament is coming up, Dayton is one of the places that hosts some of the first to second round games.
Right.
And I basically was like, is this really going to hurt, what they do for the NCAA tournament? Are they going to move venues? Well, lo and behold, later that afternoon, if not the next day, they were like, we're just going to start having no fans. And then it went to canceling conference tournaments. And then it went to canceling the whole big dance. So
I thought they were going to get by with doing, in fact,
fans.
all the sports. I thought all the sports were going to get by until it would get more serious than it is right now.
with
38 deaths,
Yeah.
I assumed that what would happen is that as a precaution, they would just say no fans, let the athletes play. And the athletes are good about taking care of themselves and staying clean and doing what they're supposed to do.
And then the outlier happened.
What happened was the Rudy Gobert.
That's exactly what I meant.
100%. I think all of this is going to their situation with the Utah Jazz. Someone threw up in the arena, and then Gobert tested positive for it, and he'd been joking about it and with reporters and touching microphones and other things like that. So he had to issue an apology for that.
And then the next day, Donovan Mitchell, his teammate.
Now, of what I saw, the 58 people tested in the Jazz organization, those are the only two that have tested positive for anything. So, again, like, what's the contagion rate? So that's 2 out of 58. So you do the math on that, and I know that other people may pop up later. Then the mortality rate, of course, is that you got to look at that, and I don't know if I don't think we're at the point, or didn't think we're at the point to actually totally cancel the games as much as, hey, let's play, let's do the games, because number one, there's so much TV money involved. And there's other money involved, and insurance. I think one of the leagues, maybe the NBA, isn't actually covered on their insurance policy under this
Like
nature.
this.
So, I was concerned about that. Without the fans, especially NASCAR, I thought they were going to go ahead and go with it this weekend. So what I think happened, Hunter, is this: Gobert situation happens, NBA reacts / overreacts, however you want to put it. Then when the NBA says they're not going to have certain things for games, then the fact of the matter is the NCAA and the high schools couldn't have any games, because they couldn't then say, if the pros are not playing, we're not going to send amateur athletes out here to do this. So I think they were put in the position where they had to do that, period. And I think they had to follow that lead. And that's where I'm going from, where I think Gobert starting it turned into fear. And then once they did, I'm thinking loggers here, Hunter, is the PGA loggers called and said, hey guys, we probably shouldn't have this. And the NBA, MLB, I think it's got lawyered down to a point where we're going to get sued if one of our players or fans comes up with it while we have this game. And my thing about it is, if you're a fan and come to it, that's kind of on your own. Yeah. Like, you can stay home. You don't have to come to the game.
That's why I thought they would do the TV stuff. That's one of the main reasons that they're taking the precautions that they are. It's because, even if you're a fan, and like they've said, sometimes it can take up to 2 weeks before symptoms will even show, the 14-day period. If a fan is to show up, he's bought the tickets prior and the symptoms have not even shown up for him, what would prevent them from going to one of these games, interacting with the people around them, screaming and yelling and their saliva going everywhere? So I understand the precaution. Another reason that I think the NBA really did it as well was definitely because a player had it, but they also needed to go about their due diligence, and they had to test like the 5 to 6 other teams that they've played against already. That Rudy Gobert played against. It wasn't just immediately the Jazz. I know that's basically who they needed to get to first because he's around them the most. But that's that's what I've said though with them playing sports. It's like, dude, if he's sick, I mean, he doesn't necessarily have to cough in somebody's face. Basketball, they're beating up on each other with sweat all over.
Had you
them.
see what the Athletic Association of North Carolina was going to do before they canceled it? They were going to no handshakes for the
They don't
teams.
let you handshake anyways, but
For the basketball teams. I'm talking about
oh no,
before after the
yeah.
games. No shaking hands. And I'm like,
yeah,
they were going to rub up against each other
yeah.
for about 40 minutes here, covered in sweat, and then now you don't want to shake their hands. The only people that would affect would have been the bench players.
You know what I think? This is what I also think though pushed the NCAA to the point where they had to just cancel March Madness as well, is because Duke pulled out. Duke said they will not be partaking in the NCAA tournament.
Blame every single thing on Rudy Gobert and Duke. Those are the two things, and you're right. Like, if Duke,
I mean, that's 100% correct because that's a big name that people would.
But the
want to
NCAA
watch.
should have just, almost my opinion, the NCAA could have just said, "Bye, Felicia."
Yeah, they could have. I mean,
You don't have to
wanna
have
play.
Duke. North Carolina's not going to be there this year.
People would
Do
still
you have?
watch.
Do you have to have Duke?
That's a draw for a lot of their major markets, though, just because it is Duke. But I'm just saying, like, because once Duke said that they were not going, there were other teams that said that they were not going to attend the NCAA tournament as well. And then, I can agree 100% if this is the case on your stance that you said you believe maybe they got lawyered out of it. They said there's no way we can send technical amateurs out here on the court and risk their health. So I understand that as well. And then the XFL, I thought they were going to continue. They suspended their whole season, but the players are still getting the rest of their payments that are and bonuses that they're supposed to get on the season. So that's rough. And they do expect a full season in 2021. But to me, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I think I was more surprised when the NCAA said that they're canceling the whole championship series than I was when teams started to say we're going to have like a suspension of games.
Right.
Because not only that, the NCAA, with them canceling the whole tournament for men's and women's, they said that there will be no, like,
That's what I'm saying. Why is there not like a
date.
30-day postponement?
Yeah,
It's almost like it's almost like everyone's making the decision based on worst case scenario panic. Like there's no, hey, the doctors say give it 30 days and then we'll come back and test.
Right.
Like why are we not waiting 30 days on the NCAA or you said the NBA is going to try to do something to that nature?
Yeah, the Adam Silver said it's going to be a 30-day little like
Listen,
hiatus.
NBA and NBA could miss a month or two and nobody would care or know. Like Major League Baseball, just cancel the first month of the season.
It's not going to hurt.
You still get 100 more and 20 more baseball games.
Oh, yeah.
I promise you. So baseball, I think, and football don't have to do anything actually on the field or with fans, and they can practice without fans and everything. Football can do everything I think that they want to up until August. If you
they can do everything they can want to until a player gets affected, and then they'll start implementing harder rules. Because that's all. In all seriousness, that's why the NBA did exactly what they did. That as soon as it came out that Gobert had it, it was over. That shut down the whole league. I knew that was going to happen.
That's what was in I think Mark Cuban's in the same thought that I am on this. Is that yes, we're concerned with that, but when one player gets the flu, we don't shut the whole
league down
for it.
Right.
So that's the question that, and I think they need to figure out whatever.
Well, here's what
the contagion level is.
I was about to say, this is what I think people need to do is they need to start coming out with numbers, and we need to start seeing real numbers, not guesstimations, not numbers that if such and such happens, then this, and this will be the cause and effect. We need hard fact numbers for people that are out there in major fear. I mean, I'm not scared that I'm going to get it, but I am going to be preventative of it. Because for me, the people that are highly susceptible to it, where it could be really scary, of course, are elderly people, that's some of the younger ones. But for me as well is because what a lot of people don't know is like I have an immune system problem. I do. And if you have a compromised immune system, obviously your white blood cell count is not going to be as high, so you're not going to be able to fight the virus off as good. So for me, I have to take precaution, but I'm not out here scared to death of it that I'm going to stop everyday life. And I think that's how everybody else should be as well. That's just my 2 cents. But for people to be able to go back and not live in fear, we got to have numbers, and we got to have real data, and we need to know what's being done and this is one of the ways that they're trying to prevent the spread of it. They know some people are going to get it. They just don't want more people to get it. They're trying to almost quarantine it in little areas to where it'll eventually just kind of go away, and they're trying to, I think, buy themselves time, because they know they're behind on trying to find not necessarily a cure, but kind of like a flu shot equivalent to a coronavirus shot. That's what it is. I believe. Sports wise, though, I mean, is it going to be tough for us sports lovers to not have anything to watch besides probably replays that they show? Which is fine. You can rewatch an instant classic,
Well, I mean, honestly, I was when they started shutting them down, I was like, well, we're going to get more NASCAR fans.
Yeah.
The XFL is going to get more fans. I
See,
thought the XFL
I thought
ratings
the
were going to
XFL
explode.
I thought they
and
were
then golf
too.
would have too. And I know people are going to find other things to do, but if you're contained in home,
Yeah.
what are you going to do besides sit there and watch the news that says we're all going to die? Like,
right.
Like
you gotta have like. So that's what a
Man.
lot of people don't understand. Like, I used to hate it when they would bring politics into sport. I was like, because a lot of people use sports to escape politics,
Right.
and to escape the news
Right.
that's sitting there saying we're all gonna die because of such and such and such and such. You're escaping all the bad stuff in the world to just enjoy. That's what entertainment is for us, whether it's a reality show or sports. So this is gonna be tough. Probably, really, for the first 2 weeks, and then I think people will just start to realize, okay, it's kind of normal now. But one thing that you brought up, me and my girlfriend went and had dinner last night, and we went to, this is not an ad, but we went to Buffalo Wild Wings. And I looked at her, because they were the televisions in there, obviously. I think one of them was playing a replay, but a lot of them were respected people from each league talking about the measurements that they're taking. And I looked at her, and I did say this. I said, you know what? How many people are going to stop going to sports bars because they can't just sit here and
Right.
watch sports and eat? I say some people do just go to certain bars
You'll
because
have to
they
go
like
to
the
a
food.
more girly restaurant there, Hunter.
I mean, it's
No more. It's Olive Garden for you, and no more Buffalo Wild Wings, Bubba.
but in all seriousness, I was sitting there, and I thought about it, because a lot of people, the reason why they'll go to sports bars is
Right.
because they do have sports that they can
Right.
sit there and watch.
Right.
And some people do go because they do enjoy the food. My sister works at a sports bar, and I love the food just as much as I like watching the sports. So I'll still go. But for those people that would maybe meet up on like a Tuesday, maybe at lunch, because they know there's a day game on for baseball, I mean, they're not going to go there anymore. They're just not, because it's like, what are we going to watch? You're just going to you want to just pack your lunch and stay here at work? Or are people even going to start going to work? A lot of businesses are saying, if you can work from home, just work from home.
KTC, highly affected by this. We're Braves sponsors or affiliates. I mean,
Yeah.
NASCAR affiliates, Clemson and Tar Heel and Duke affiliates. So we'd plan on doing the NCAA tournament, the ACC tournament, high school sports.
Yeah.
So our company has lost hours and hours and hours of programming due to the decisions yesterday, and it's going to be tough on us. I mean, we've got to
Right.
buckle down and find different ways and avenues of making certain types of money and doing different programming. NASCAR has postponed the next 2 race weekends, calling off events in Atlanta and Miami. We believe the decision is the best interest of the safety and well-being of our fans, competitors, officials, and everyone associated with our sport. We will continue to monitor the dynamic situation. The next Cup Series is scheduled March 29th at Texas. NASCAR planned to hold the events without fans. I saw yesterday a lot of the NASCAR drivers were out at the GoPro Motor Complex in Mooresville. Folks, that's a good place to sneakily meet a NASCAR driver. Them and the crew chiefs they'll go out there and take a
Who drives the
group efforts, and they'll go.
is there
Jimmy Johnson was out there yesterday.
Is there still an interstate battery car? It's green.
Yes.
Is it number
well,
4
there's not.
or
It's not
something?
an official. Interstate's one of the sponsors for Kyle Busch. Actually, he
Well,
was.
They were having like a photo shoot in Denver
Yeah.
the other day. It was a NASCAR. They had people
Yeah.
out there all lined up around it. I was like, oh well, that's nice. Local people be able to see, NASCAR driver. To me, it's hard for us to just sit here and think about it, just because, like I said, we don't have all of the information. I feel like there's information.
We've been speculating on free agent quarterbacks. We
Yeah.
thought we knew stuff, and we
thought we
didn't
knew.
know nothing.
And
this
now-
is just
And this is just mind-boggling. And what I want to, do you think they're withholding information from us?
who, the who?
Yeah, the who. Because
No. Here's the problem. Here's the argument, and looking at it from there's a couple of ways you have to look at all this too. Like let's pretend, and I like doing this and when we talk about the politics and government of this stuff. I like going back and try to think about what the founding fathers thought of or would have thought about certain things that are going on.
Yeah.
So the Patriot Act is that basically allows spying on U.S. citizens.
Mm-hmm.
That is the basically number 1 or 2 reason we went to war with the British in the first place.
Yeah.
So George Washington, if he would have seen the Patriot Act, would have been like, what the hell, guys?
Mm-hmm.
You know how many people just died trying to, it was over the Stamp Act. And so all of them, they went to war and created a country over that, basically, and the freedom to do a lot of what they want. And the more government that takes away those freedoms, you got to worry about. Think about, we got a virus now that's killed 38 people and the whole country is shut down. How many jobs are being affected right now? How many sports are being affected right now? Over 38 people so far that's died. And yes, that's important. But like I said, last year alone, we had 56,000 people die of flu-related deaths. How many people have been? How many children or kids have been aborted just today before right now?
Right.
It's more than 38. So a lot of times our country picks and chooses. Same thing with gun violence. Which deaths are more important / shouldn't happen, and how we do things we do differently. You can look at alcohol. We can talk about how many people die of alcohol-related deaths between driving and physical deaths as opposed to marijuana smoking.
Right.
That there's just so many different things. And what I'm getting at, Hunter, is that so what people are arguing about online, what I see the most of the arguing about, and that's why I'm trying to dance around and not touch on it, is there's an argument between over what the contagious rate is, what the mortality rate is, and the numbers. So
Oh yeah, I know.
So when I say 38 people, someone online or Twitter would yell at you, "You're an idiot! It's so many percent of it's a certain percentage is what you're supposed to look at." Well, if that percentage, most percentages, for example, or most viruses, whatever, start off a higher percentage killing people, and then they figure out how to fight it, and then it drops dramatically.
Right.
And that's kind of what's happened so far. I saw a thing just a while ago. 60,000 people have already recovered. From it.
There's been a lot of recoveries from it.
So 2,000, this is just an example of numbers. You can read into it how you want. We'll get to it later. In 2009, the H1N1 virus, 60 million people contracted it. So far, this one, 1,300 people. 12,000 people died from the H1N1. Only 1,300 have actually got this one. So again, 12,000 people died of H1N1 and 38 have died over this one. Do you even remember what year or who the president was during H1N1?
No idea.
It was Obama. And I'm not just bringing him up I'm just saying you probably don't remember that. But everyone will remember this.
Yeah.
Everyone will talk about this. So, So, and being in the media, again, the problems with the media is, depending on who owns certain media, they're going to report and push the different agendas about the situation.
Yeah.
ESPN is not going to put down sports and things that they have business deals with.
Mm-hmm.
They'll promote other sports above others. They promote the MMAs over NASCARs because they're not partners with them anymore. NASCAR went to the bottom of their list on their webpage. You can scroll up right here. I can just show you folks what I mean. If you go to ESPN and want to go to all the sports, I mean, just look at that, and then you can figure out where everything is according to them. Top 3 lines: MMA, MLB, college football, boxing, CFL, chalk. Oh, that's going down that way. College. It's in no order. Like you just maybe it's not in alphabetical order, but NASCAR's here in the middle. And there's an NCAA. It's NASCAR's between the G League and the NCAA women's F1. NHL's below NASCAR down here.
Yeah, that's in alphabetical order. It's going.
It's not really. What's the MMA at the top then?
LMN. Well, I don't know why boxing and all that is there because then FG.
The rest of it does look kind of alphabetical.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a programmer's fault. However he designed that.
Fuss at the programmer on that one.
Yeah.
So ESPN, I guess, is basically canceled right now.
Oh, FS1 has said that they won't have any like on-air.
They're not even
shows
doing.
this year.
They're not even doing studio shows or anything
no
like that.
shows.
It's all
and you know, I kind of don't blame them. And it's not because they're in fear of the coronavirus. Like, what are they going to talk about?
Well, that's true.
There's nothing happening. And the same thing, people could say the same thing about what me or you going to talk about. It's like, we'll find something. Okay.
Well, we're going to, like I said,
something.
we're going to, every day we're going to have our we'll have our Mount Rushmores. We can do Mount Rushmores of golfers, NASCAR drivers, point guards of North Carolina. I got a couple likes on that one. Centers. I mean, you could do anything, running backs, quarterbacks, wide receivers, all that. And we're going to do that more going forward next week and in the next few weeks. Today we kind of wanted to go through every sport and trying to go through. Boston Marathon postponed until September 14th. Premier League is suspended until April 3rd. Golf has postponed the Masters, originally scheduled for April 9th, and they have not got a rescheduled date. NCAA tournament
canceled with nothing.
Canceled. NFL free agents going to go on as planned. I mean, they don't have to.
Yeah, they don't have to do much.
Make phone calls and emails.
There are certain football teams though, and with they're no longer meeting with certain players when it comes to the draft. I know Washington themselves said some coaches, or really the coaching staffs and some of the staff at the facility, they don't have their I think it's about a week that they're not going to be at the building.
Yeah,
just in precaution. It's they're just taking every measurement they can to prevent large crowds, and that's understandable. I get it. Could some say it is an overreaction? Well, absolutely, especially when you look at the data. But then there's also you have to look at it this way. Would you much rather there be an overreaction that can prevent it or an underreaction and it just spreads like wildfire? And yeah, it might have a low mortality rate, but like you said, if the amount of people that have contracted it is still low, what happens when the amount of people that contract it gets exponential? It's just, it's a tough topic right now because to me, truthfully, like even though we have these numbers, they're still pushing the envelope. They're pushing the agenda that this coronavirus is just so dangerous. And I guess they are just trying to cut down on it, maybe not so that they don't have the flu and then basically the flu 2.0 that's just a little bit more scary. They probably, World Health Organization wise, like, so now you've got the flu that's killing people, and then you would have also this other virus, and that would just make the numbers go up by themselves, like they would almost coincide with each other. So I don't know. I'm not a health official. We're not health officials. Listen to your health officials. Just be smart. It's okay to not go out in public if you don't want to. Don't quit your jobs. Don't stop doing your jobs. Don't stop going out and supporting businesses. But if you are sick, stay home. It's okay to stay home if you don't feel good. If you don't want to get anybody else sick. Don't go out. Everybody needs to stop going out here and buying 200 to 300 rolls of toilet paper. Now that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Wash your hands. That's I think everybody really should be doing that. Just be cleanliness, and I think you're going to be okay. But personally, I think that there's being some information that has not being leaked to the public that should be, or else we wouldn't be having such distress, and they wouldn't be pushing this narrative so much if there wasn't something to really be concerned about. So that's just me. I'm not going to sit here and act like there's just a conspiracy theory out there, that they're just trying to wipe all of us out with this virus. I don't think so. No, I think it's just a virus that happened naturally. But I do think that there's something that we're not being told. Now, when it comes back to sports, to me, this was inevitable. First, it was going to start with no fans, and all it took was one player to get the virus. That was it. It was just sports were over for at least 30 days. I don't see, and Kevin, you probably don't either, I don't see this being indefinite unless it gets worse.
Right. I don't think so. I think everybody is. I think what happened is everyone got scared. Worst case scenario, Hunter, they don't want to be the ones out there and say, Major League Baseball, you had a game, 40 people got infected, we're suing you.
That's exactly right.
I think that's everything that we do in today's society is almost to whether or not you're going to get sued. Major League Baseball is delaying it for 2 weeks. I got a couple quick questions I want to go before we get out of here. I got a sick daughter, and our hard drive crashed. If it doesn't make yesterday and today even worse for us,
man.
But she does not. She's just got a tummy ache. So what I'm looking at, Hunter.
Yeah.
Here's the joke of the day. Here's your joke. I don't know if you looked over here at the phone. I left it sitting there.
Oh no, huh?
If no gatherings over 500 rule catches on and stays the rule long term, the Miami Marlins should be able to host all their games this season.
Truth. Same with that could almost be put towards the Tampa Bay Rays as well.
Hornets might be able to host some games.
Did you not hear what I told you, though? I walked in that room and I said the Hornets had no reason for them not to play their games. They don't draw a big enough crowd for anybody to really get sick. And if there is a big enough crowd, there's like 3 to 4 seats in between you and the next person. I mean, nobody's there. I'm sorry, nobody's there. But did you see? That's something you're talking about. They beat the Heat. They beat one of the top 4 teams in the East. What the heck?
I know. I don't know what they're.
I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with them.
Or what's right.
They lose. They lose the Atlanta Hawks, who are like the second worst team in the NBA, and then they beat the 4th best team in the East.
So it's not regular season NBA basketball. You can't bank on anything.
Yeah.
I'm bringing this up tomorrow for Tom. The Space Jam, of course, predicted all this.
Yeah.
They shut down the whole season over an unknown virus. And folks, to make it even more ironic, the video came out on VHS on March 11th, the same day of yesterday.
The day that sports stopped. You think they'll do a 30 for 30 on this?
I'm sure. I did see someone comment that they needed to push the Jordan 30 for 30 out as fast as possible.
Yes, they need to do that now because, go ahead and release it now. You know it has to be finished. Give us something to watch for these 30 days. Have it come on every other day or every 2 days. Part 2 will come on, or part 3. Because I think they said it's a 10-part 30 for 30 on the 90 on Jordan's Bulls. Yeah, I think it's a 10-part 30 for 30.
To be that long, they better be talking about his dad. That's what I'm just. His dad's death. That's the only thing I can think of. If you're going to do a behind the scenes on that.
Well, they're talking about everything about the Bulls. I mean, I know that it's just called, Michael Jordan's the biggest name,
right?
But they're doing that just the 6 out of the 8 year span that really they were dominant for 8 years straight. When he wasn't there for 2 years, they just didn't win the championship.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were still so competitive, and then he took the 2 years off, but. It's just, they need to push that because I'm going to need something to watch. And Netflix only has so many shows.
NASCAR, let's see, they had 4.6 million viewers last weekend. 4.8 during last year's race. It was actually down, but like I said, they had 2 to 3 times as many viewers as Lakers versus Clippers. Another thing, Hunter, real quick, that I was thinking about.
Yeah.
How this affects, we was talking about the XFL shutting down, and I didn't think they would. One reason I was thinking is that you could possibly have some college seniors / graduate transfers that could go pro, instead of sitting there saying, "Well, I can't even practice right now with my team."
Mm-hmm.
And I just bringing him up. If Chaz wanted to switch anytime, right now would be the time to do it.
Right now.
Because you just take your off season. Sage can't. What's Sage doing right now? Who's throwing to him?
Nobody.
If he's planning on making a run at playing in the NFL, Sage is at wide receiver 100%. I'm not saying
100%.
Chaz couldn't at linebacker. What I'm saying is, with how successful the running quarterbacks and PJ Walker, for example, in the XFL, with no practice right now with your colleges and no classes, what's the point of a graduate senior or a transfer? It's going to affect. Do they want to sit out another year waiting for their chance at pro football? And that's why I meant by, I'm kind of surprised the XFL did, because I thought they might be able to grab a couple of people here and there for this.
This is something that's a topic of conversation started yesterday after the interview with Gino Auriemma, head coach of UConn Huskies women's national team. With them wanting to cancel spring games for, not just spring games, spring sports. Now, you can't do it at the high school level, but at the college level, do seniors, should they be able to have an extra free year of eligibility because they didn't get to play this whole season?
No,
because Gino said if it comes down to a scholarship problem, that shouldn't be the case. The NCAA should foot the bill for that.
Well, the schools pay themselves for the scholarship, so I don't want to hear that crap anyway. Here's my issue with that is, why would just the seniors get a year back? Why wouldn't everyone get a red shirt year? Every spring sport. Why couldn't you red shirt the whole team?
Well, you could do it that way. You could do it. Literally, it could be considered a medical red shirt.
Give every player in the spring sport a medical red shirt year. I think that's the way to do it. If you're a junior and you miss your junior year, this year's off. You still missed a year. So why does the senior Why does he get his year, but I don't?
Yeah.
So if you're just giving it to the seniors, the juniors and everybody, they're still missing a year. And then another question someone had about, how would that affect, you just talk about the scholarships, the incoming freshman scholarships. And like I said, I think that's inconsequential to any of it. They act like they don't have the money and don't have, how much, it doesn't cost that much to put an athlete, I would say, in a room.
They spend more money building new facilities than they do on their students.
I know, come on.
And what you really needed
ass on that one.
Yeah, you really needed that third science building, really. You still got the same amount of students there that there were there last year. You needed that third science building. The other two couldn't withstand the amount of people that you had in the school. It's just, I don't know. But I thought it was a good idea to at least give the players an extra year of eligibility. Whether or not you want to do it on the whole team or just the seniors, I
don't think it's fair to the guys that ain't the seniors.
It's because, think about it. If a kid's borderline a good prospect and could play at the next level, but he's not going to be able to put any tape out there on his senior year or his junior year, or who
are we talking about here? Baseball players?
Well, baseball.
What other sports are going pro? Right? Some track athletes, maybe.
Yeah. Or think about it. What are they getting? Japan's probably going to put the Olympics on hiatus too.
They're still on for right now, from what I've seen. The president actually talked to Japan about the situation specifically, and they said they're still on for now. And we'll see. It may be a players only type thing, but that don't mean the disease wouldn't spread over there. That the Olympic Village is notorious for going through thousands of condoms.
Yeah,
you can take that how you wish, or however I'm saying. I'm just telling you that's the that's what happens out there. So I, like I said, my daughter's sick, and I've got to work on some hard drive stuff. So we're just going to have a quick show today, folks, kind of just giving you the latest update on all the sports.
Which for now, there's probably not going to be many updates we can give other than starting next week whenever free agency starts to fall out. I mean, that'll be some fillers that we can do. Whatever free agency moves, maybe that the Browns do. We can talk about local team. If the Panthers make any free agency moves, what my Washington Redskins move, and we'll watch every single quarterback move, whether it's going to be cross country or right down the road. It's just free agency is going to happen regardless.
I do think NASCAR will be back first.
Probably.
Maybe even the PGA.
But
the sports
still
that
no
you don't
fans.
have to interact with the fans.
Mhm.
You can play either one of those sports without fans, I believe. I told you I thought before this started we were about to find out the hypocrisy of the actual leagues and how much they make. The NCAA showed it and then backed off that they were going to play without the fans.
Yeah.
Just showing, and then you knew this already by watching the Final Fours and stuff with those empty stadiums, that you knew that they weren't making money off the fans anyway.
Yeah.
That the fans are basically, from what I think, Hunter, are paying for the facilities.
Probably.
They're paying the facility rentals and
They're paying the facility
they're making
rentals.
the money straight off.
They're paying the
TV.
facility rentals and they're paying the employees that are
hotels
working
and
there at the
whatever.
facility. Yeah. Well, that's what that's what everybody says though about this is really going to hurt the communities that host like early round and second round, like Dayton was going to host the first and maybe second round games of the NCAA tournament. That's such a tourist thing. Well, not a tourist thing, but like that helps them. That gets people from out of town coming in and eating at their local restaurants and stuff. And now
I
just shut down.
have no reason in my life
It's
to ever
just
go
shut
to
down.
Dayton, Ohio.
I don't have my
Except for-
cousins are from Ohio,
unless
but
Appalachian State was playing in the Sweet 16 in Dayton, Ohio. I don't see myself.
oh no, not me. I know not me and you,
You're
but,
right.
but the teams that
The
are
other
going to be
people.
playing.
That's the only
yeah.
other
Yeah.
reason other people would
Oh,
be
yeah.
coming to Dayton as well.
Yeah, so it's going to hurt there.
What about fighting without fans?
They're doing that.
Are they going to do MMA, UFC without
yes,
fans?
Yes, UFC. Dana White came out and said UFC Brasilia will still go on with no fans.
Okay.
So if you want to tune in, I mean, you're gonna have to pay for ESPN Plus, but I promise you, I'm not.
All right, so tomorrow, Saturday morning sports talk is going to be live. I do have an announcement on that, Hunter. I hadn't really talked to you guys about. We are not going to be on WLON anymore, just the Cherryville station, but everything else is the same. 92.3 FM. But we will. Tomorrow we're going to talk about how it affects high school. I've got some all district teams for basketball to announce. May even talk to a coach or someone. We're going to try to go through how it affects us locally as much as possible. Terry and Tom will be here. I think today, actually, yesterday was the last day of teams that actually got to play sports. They got to finish those games. Let's see if anything else. Press conference today at 3:00 for the North Carolina High School Athletic Association on athletics across the state. So stay tuned to that. Also, just stay tuned to your local stuff, folks. We're going to still be doing our podcast as much as we can. We may skip a day or two here and there. We don't know. But for the most part, we'll be giving you updates on sports and the things in the sports world on what we can do and are going to do, and how it definitely affects KTC broadcasting. Let's see, how can you possibly say kids can be in the same school building all day and then not practice together after school? That's one of the questions about the college and the high school sports, is that we're not going to school. If we're not going to close school and then we're going to sit together, what's the difference? And then playing and everything. And
well,
a lot of the schools are actually afraid, Hunter, about spring break.
Them coming back.
I mean, they're bringing back more than the normal diseases than they bring back from spring break.
Yeah.
So that's why they're afraid of some commingling in that situation.
If they hated that, then they shouldn't. Colleges in North Carolina should not have extended spring break by a week, because that's what they did.
Right.
A lot of them extended spring break by a week, and then they said when they come back, it will be some form of online class for at least a week.
I'm already getting notes that some local high schools are packing up most of the kids' stuff to send home, looking to do some online classes and online teaching to finish up the year. Just a weird situation, and like I said, Hunter, I think everything was okay until the Rudy Gobert and the fan throwing up in the stands.
That's exactly what it is. And
those two and Duke,
and
then when Duke did that started
they pulled
a
out.
snowball.
And Andre made a good point when I told him. He was like, "Well, I'm not surprised because most of the college coaches are old. they're part of that demographic that's if you get it, they might get sick. So this is Coach K saving his ass.
Y'all are so sick.
Like, I don't know, but it is, people are going to start taking it seriously, which I don't think they should take it lightly at all.
Right.
I mean, take it seriously. It's the same thing with flu. Take it seriously. Just be smart. And, you said their schools are probably going to start doing that as well. They were already with the school that I go to. It's almost like private, but I'm not trying to flex there. But I'm really not. But it's.
I was going to ask you if y'all do anything.
They have sent out surveys to the students to take because they're trying to weigh out if all of us are going to be able to have like an access to a computer at home. Are we going to be able to have a webcam if we have to do like web meetups? So they're talking about the precautions. I have yet to look really today and see what exactly the plan is, if there's been one announced. Because, like you said, now the noticeable people have it. That's all it took. You want to know who else made it really serious for other people? When Tom Hanks and his wife got it.
I don't know why.
They're in Australia. but
They're not.
For a lot of people, that was like, that right there made it real. I was like, oh,
it's not like you get it if you watch Toy Story now.
Don't ruin Toy Story for me.
Tom Hanks has it now. Gosh, I guess I'm gonna get it if I watch
Dude,
Toy Story.
I saw the funniest thing ever.
I'm gonna ruin a lot of stuff.
I saw the funniest thing ever. It was like Forrest Gump could outrun everything except the coronavirus. Couldn't run his way out of that one.
Yeah. Gosh.
Man.
All right, Hunter. Any more things or notes that we haven't or we can't get into tomorrow?
I mean, not really. Again, we're not health officials, but do listen to your health officials. Just be smart. Just be smart.
So we're going to play it away. We'll probably get kicked off of Facebook here playing this song for just a second. I'm going to try to talk over it, so hopefully they won't kick us off, but I did want to play it just for a second while we in the background. It just reminded me the day sports died basically was yesterday, and this is American Pie, of course, talking about the day the music died, and with the death of Buddy Holly and Richie Valens and who's the last one? Big Bopper. And I was just wondering if somebody's going to do a remake of this.
The day the sports died.
The day the sports were all done. So we're going to talk tomorrow on Saturday Sports Talk. We're going to eat our breakfast, and then from there we're going to figure out what we're going to do, guys. So we'll see you guys next week. Next show tomorrow morning, Saturday morning, 8 a.m. to 10:15 a.m. Saturday Sports Talk with Mitchum's Kitchen Breakfast. Thanks for everybody listening. Stay healthy and be good.